friends, dear colleagues. I'm very honored to greet you, and I'm very happy and thankful to Hakuta Koichi that he took the initiative to translate my book, which is called in English Dark God, into Japanese with a somewhat different title. I'm happy that in this form now the book can also find some Japanese readers, because the questions that I try to deal with this book are, I think, quite universal questions for any people that are interested in religion, not only in Christian or Jewish religion. It is true that the Hebrew Bible, but also the Christian Bible, contain a lot of very difficult texts in which God appears related to violence, to the war, to patriarchal structures, and so on. What I wanted to try is to show that these texts have a historical setting, and we need to take into account these historical settings in order to understand these very strange or complicated texts. Unfortunately, today, war is again of much actuality. If you look what is happening now in Europe, where Ukraine is invaded by Russia. And there are many texts in the Bible that seems to legitimate a divine intervention in the war, especially in the book of Joshua. So it is always a problem that leaders of the churches will use those texts in order to justify, to legitimate invasions. And this is also the case which we can observe now in the statements of the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, who's legitimizing an aggression with the divine will. If you look in the Bible, we can see that the book of Joshua is presenting the conquest in this way. But if we do a historical research, we can also find out that this book was written not on the base of historical facts, because Israel never really entered the land with a conquest. They were in the land and differentiated themselves then from the Canaanite population. So what we can find out if we do some historical analysis is that the book of Joshua and the implication of God Yahweh, the God of Israel, in these wars was written down in a context where the Israelites were oppressed themselves by the Assyrians. So they took over Assyrian ideology to turn this ideology against the Assyrians. So it's a resistance, and it's not a cry for invasion. On the contrary, it's a book of resistance. And this we need to take very seriously. If we put out this book of this context, then it becomes very dangerous. And this is the topic of Dark God. We try to show that very strange texts in the Bible can only be understood if we take seriously that they responded to a certain context. And we need also to take seriously that some of the contexts of the Bible do not correspond to our democratic situation in which we are living. And so we need to do some hermeneutics, some necessity of interpretation. So again, thank you very much for being interested in this book. I am very grateful to Hakuta Koichi. I'm very grateful to all Japanese readers, and I thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu.